morning, Miss Stanley.
Ah, Miss Piggott-Smythe.
There's a memo on my typewriter. Report to the Director General's office at once.
Outer office, I think you'll find.
Are you sure you have the right Miss Piggott-Smythe, Miss Stanley?
I believe we have only one Miss Piggott-Smythe, Miss Piggott-Smythe. Door, please. Thank you.
Why would Sir John want to see me?
He doesn't. I do. Now, I wasn't privy to your misdemeanor until late Friday afternoon.
What?
Which is why corrective measures have had to wait until now.
What misdemeanor?
Oh, please don't be impertinent, Miss Piggott-Smythe. I have a very full morning.
May I know what I'm supposed to have done?
You're not supposed to have done anything. You were seen. There are 2 witnesses. One from accounts department, no less.
Witnesses to what?
On Friday morning, you walked from Oxford Circus Underground Station to this building.
I do every morning.
But not, I sincerely trust, without stockings. You were seen in Oxford Street, in public, with bare legs.
I had a ladder in them. In the stockings. I got a ladder from some chump's umbrella on the platform. So I went to the ladies and took them
Broadcasting
off.
House does have standards, Miss Piggott-Smythe.
My legs, my ladder, and I humbly apologise. The stockings have already got the boot.
There's a temporary vacancy for secretarial staff at TS. You start this morning.
What's TS?
The television service.
What television service?
At Alexandra Palace.
Well, there is no television service. There's no such thing.
Don't be stupid, girl. They've been footling about out there for weeks. You're to replace Miss somebody or other who's indisposed. You won't feel new. Almost all ancillary staff start this morning.
Miss Stanley, I apologise for my previous apology. I'm truly sorry. I'll carry spare stockings in future.
An omnibus leaves here every hour or so. Once there, you ask for whoever's in charge of the secretaries. And
It's in the Antarctic.
on the contrary, Muswell Hill's almost exactly due north through Camden Town.
It's like exile.
It takes 25 minutes.
Oh, please don't send me to television, Miss Stanley. I do have a certain standing in society. My father's
The
just been
next
appointed...
omnibus goes at 10 o'clock. Door, please. Thank you.
Down corridor to your right, 6th door down, see Mr. Haley. Stanley.
Thank you. Sorry.
Ellen Townsend, Mrs. Incapacitative Office Cleaner.
Mr. Ambler's office, 2nd floor.
Tar.
Kingsley, F. Scenery and property.
I don't do climbing.
Climbing?
Step ladders, like windows and such, indoors.
No, you tell Mr. Ambler.
Ratio.
Kingsley, F. Scenery and property department.
Back outside the building, turn right, entrance to scenery and props, about 200 yards on the right.
Thank you.
Morning, Mr. Toomey.
Excuse me, Mr. Madden, sir, I'm afraid the lift is still hors de combat. Technical hitch beyond our control.
Cheers.
Now, all right, I'm doing one at a time here, one at a time.
Madden here. Just about. Gerald, how good of you. What? Good God. Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Alexandra Palace. Can you all hear me? Yes. My name is Cecil Madden. I'm sorry to have you all trundled in here before you've even hung your hats up. I'm supposed to be the program organizer. Little did I suspect the first thing I'd be organising was a gang show in the canteen. Now, apart from the handful of staff who've been here for some weeks now, that is, engineers and technicians.
And canteen girls.
You're all strangers here. Well, we've all suddenly got the chance to get acquainted a jolly sight quicker than we planned. The idea, up to a few minutes ago that is, was that we all start work today, and that in 10 weeks' time, November the 2nd, we broadcast the first programme of the world's first high-definition television service. Now, as you know, a lot of people think we're not all there, even in the BBC, particularly in the BBC. Well, 10 weeks isn't a very long time, particularly in view of the fact that none of us has ever made a television programme before, and not many of us have the faintest idea of how to even start. But a few minutes ago, however, I had a phone call from our elders and betters at Broadcasting House, who tell me that the radio show at Olympia is having trouble selling stands to exhibitors. Well, we've been asked to help by broadcasting a few demonstration programmes, not into people's homes, but direct to Olympia before November the 2nd. Instead of 10 weeks, we go on the air in 9 days, August 26th. I agreed. Now, even I think we're not all there. And just in case we think that's a little too easy, we have to operate from 2 different studios based on entirely different systems of making television pictures. The Baird system and Marconi EMI. Unfortunately, little of either is done by mirrors. So, as from this moment, I suggest we all roll our sleeves up and try and figure out which end of a camera's which. If I appear a little panic-stricken, I assure you it's an optical illusion. You'll see the real thing I expect in 9 days' time. Thank you. Right, at the risk of being turned into pillars of salt, let's have a go. Track. Mitchell and Mr. Mitchell. Cue, Mr. Mitchell.
Oh, so sorry. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Are you receiving me? They are, right, onward. This is Leslie Mitchell making an idiot of himself, dribbling on about absolutely nothing. Sorry, hold what?
Stop there. Sorry, Mr. Madden, can we just get some things sorted out down here, please?
Just sorting a few things out, Mr. Madden. Sorry, sir.
I was signalling track back.
When, Mr. Bliss?
Well, then.
I didn't see it.
You didn't mean me?
No. All signals to the artist come from me, sir.
Oh, well, shall I blather on?
I did just... a moment, sir.
One moment, Mr. Mitchell. What is it, Mr. Bliss?
Well, look, if you can't see my hand signals, I better signal with my legs, hadn't I? That will be track right, huh? And that will be track left, yeah?
What about forward and back?
Well, I haven't really got very many things left to point with, have I?
That'll do, Mr. Bliss. There are ladies present.
Sorry, sir.
I'll tell you what, for forwards, drop your left hand to your side and make a paddle motion forwards. And for backwards, paddle backwards.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Use your left hand only.
Is that all right?
Thank you, Mr. Bliss.
Reposition, please.
Opening position, gentlemen.
Off we go then. Continue.
Testing. This is still Leslie Mitchell, still talking poppycock. Still dribbling on about absolutely nothing. Having difficulty seeing the camera.
Hold it. Hold it. Camera 1, why are you suddenly giving me a rather avant-garde close-up of a scene shifter's collarbone?
What did you track right for?
You kicked your right leg out, Mr. Bliss.
I was just getting comfy.
Reposition, please.
Oh, there's no problem at all.
Well, I thought we just sorted
Hang
out
on a
what you were
minute,
going
hang
to do when we were talking.
Reposition, please.
Gentlemen, opening positions.
Cue, Mr. Mitchell.
Testing.
No, Mr.
This
Mitchell,
is-
wait for your cue from me, sir.
Leslie Mitchell, surrounded by a lot of rather peculiar chaps in white coats, whom I fully expect to see in white straitjackets in another 9 days' time. Meanwhile, the way things are going, I'll be in a white straitjacket before then.
Stop again, please, stage manager. Well, why has that happened? What's camera 2 showing? Well, camera 3 must be all right. Good God. Leslie?
Yes, Cecil?
We've seemingly just invented a new way for you to play Jekyll and Hyde and Banquo's Ghost all at the same time without a change of makeup.
Sorry?
Camera check right away, please.
Hold on, Mrs. Streeton. Ready, Miss Pickett-Smythe?
Yes, sir.
Righto, we're ready. Bookings being negotiated for August the 26th. The 3 admirals, masters of modern harmony, at 1 guinea per show, twice daily. Miss Looty and Pogo the Wonder Horse. One moment, Mrs. Streeton. Find out if we have a stable on the premises, would you? Righto, Mrs. Streeton, go ahead.
How do I find that out?
Excuse me, Mrs. Streeton. I'll leave that to you. We can't have a horse galloping round the studio.
I know you're absolutely the best in England, Mary, but are you absolutely sure you're not absolutely colourblind?
Miss Blythe? This way, please.
But isn't this the bad studio?
Yes, but you're in the Spotlight studio.
Spotlight? Oh. What happens if I forget my words?
Just keep mouthing.
Mouthing what?
Anything.
And what if it happens when we're actually broadcasting? When the public are looking in?
It's all right. They'll think we've just lost the sound, that's all. Come on. In you go.
It's pitch black.
Yes. Well, just make your way towards the blue light. I'll stop you when you get in the right place where you'll be in focus. Yes, that's it.
Sit down, Jasmine.
What on? He's like the Black Hill of Calcutta in here, only rather blacker.
Well, feel around you. There's a stool.
Oh.
Well done. Perfect. Blood sand. Take 5 minutes, everyone. All bad engineers into my office, please. Everyone else go outside and get a breath of fresh air. I can't rehearse if the equipment doesn't work. It's not fair on the art people.
Hello? I can't hear you. Is anybody there? Hello? Can anyone tell me how to get out? Hello?
Salad, please.
Miss Tidding, telephone call, please. Telephone call for Miss Tidding, thank you.
Do you mind?
No, help yourself, Miss.
Are women allowed to sit with men?
Oh, I think so, yeah. Well, I don't think there's been a memo.
And brown coats with white coats?
Well, I don't usually want to. We're the technical staff, you see. The brown ones are scene shifters and whatnot. So. The white ones put people off.
Really?
We have one-track minds.
Oh, yes.
You're supposed to say, what about?
Oh, sorry, am I? What about?
Cameras. That's my job, you see. Tracking the camera. One-track minds. Our little joke in the department.
How sweet.
It's a bit corny, really, isn't it?
I'm Wendy Piggott-Smythe, secretary.
Pleased to meet you, David Lambert, camera tracker.
How do you do?
With Marconi EMI.
Sorry?
In the Marconi EMI studio.
Ah.
See, the Baird lot usually sit over there. Trying to kid themselves, they know what they're doing.
Fascinating.
About 20 minutes then, David. Usual place. Tray, please, miss.
You're starved to death doing this every day.
Well, you can't starve on an apple.
Anyway, my mum gives me my meat tea, doesn't she?
You could be in the canteen having 3 helpings of meringue tart.
Miss my little walk with you then, wouldn't I?
I went to a church bazaar once when I was in the Boys' Brigade, and there was a stall selling this bundle of postcards. Must have been, 100 or more, in an elastic band. And they were all written by 2 people, to each other. Brian and Edith. It lived in Rochdale or somewhere. That's where Gracie Fields comes from.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, and what they was this Brian and Edith always went for a walk together after work. Now, she was a weaver, and he was what he called a tackler. And all the postcards said was, "Thank you for my lovely walk, and such a thing happened when I got home," type of thing. Yeah, and they go on for years. "Thank you for my lovely walk." Yeah, I mean, they started in 1908. Yeah, they go from Dear Edith to Dearest Edith to Darling Edith. And then there's about half a dozen from him in France in the Great War. Yeah, and then they suddenly stop. Yeah, it was a penny for the bundle, but I only had about a farthing.
That's a horrid story.
Well, it's not a story, it's when I was in the Boys' Brigade.
There isn't going to be no war.
No one said there was.
Spain is in Spain.
No one said it wasn't.
Well, papers keep on going on about them and the whatsits, don't they? The Germans getting little digs in.
It's Italians, isn't it?
And the Germans.
All I was doing... Well, you like me to tell you things.
And is that what's going to happen to us? Just go for walks for a few years and go from dear to darling?
I wasn't even thinking about us. It was just with us walking, and it came into my head, and...
Anyway, I'd like you to go from Florence to Flo in one go. You can miss out Florrie and Flossie.
You want your chair, Cecil?
No, I'll perch.
And if I'm the man in charge, then we make the programs I want to make.
Of course. Naturally.
And I want the transmission to Radio Olympia to be... perch on the other side, there's a good chap.
Oh, sorry.
And I want the transmission to Radio Olympia to be a real program. Broadcasting House thinks that's too ambitious.
Well, they're wrong. Of course.
Well, not quite, of course, gentlemen. I'm beginning to understand why they call us the fools on the hill. The show itself is going to be murdered if we got ready in time. Therefore, the one thing we have to know for certain is going to work perfectly is the technical side. Your side. I know we've a few days to go, but so far... Cecil?
Oh.
So far, both systems, Marconi EMI and your Spotlight Studio and Intermediate Film Technique, are giving us the collywobbles. Olympia's 7 miles away. At the moment, we're having trouble getting the pictures from your cameras to the control room. All of 7 yards.
You concentrate on the show's collywobbles, Gerald. The Marconi cameras will be utterly reliable. The picture will be utterly steady. The tone value utterly correct. No flickering.
Utterly no flickering?
I guarantee.
John?
Gerald, I get insult upon insult. I suppose after 10 years I should be used to it.
John, this isn't one of those meetings. They're over. We're committed to both systems. Electronic and mechanical. Both will go on the air.
It isn't all mechanical. My intermediate film technique is hardly what you would describe.
It is hardly electronic, John.
Electronic will not work, Isaac.
You cannot...
Please,
it's simply a
gentlemen,
question
please. All I'm asking, is there any chance of a drink, Cecil?
Not if we get permission for a hospitality cabinet, apparently.
Who gives permission?
You do?
Tomorrow morning, first thing. Correction. This afternoon, last thing.
You're not going off me a bit or anything? Like perhaps in comparison to someone a bit more la-di-da or something?
Anyhow, the Germans are miles behind.
Behind what?
You can't count the Olympic Games, Florence. Berlin had 3 electronic cameras granted, like my Marconi EMI, but theirs were only Farnsworth's. And an intermediate film technique system like in the Baird studio, but it was only 180-line transmission. Well, that's not high definition. The Germans aren't in the same class as what we're doing. I mean, we're making history, Florence.
No.
We'll be the first in the world. And it's you and me doing it. Us. Hundreds of houses with families looking at real-life pictures in their sitting rooms all over London. Perhaps one day in France and Rochdale, all over the place. Be a different world.
Don't stop.
Hmm?
Makes me go over doodah. Things you say to a girl.
And how's Miss Honeylamb Tootsie today, eh?
Don't tell me you weren't watching. It'll be the first time.
I got the better things to do, eh, than to watch 2 crazy people kissing noses.
John, can you guarantee no flicker?
The spotlight will give you perfect close-ups and 3/4 length.
And no flicker?
The intermediate film will
John,
give you...
answer the question.
Give me a workroom in the basement. I'll be there every day, night and day. There'll be no flicker. For God's sake, you think I'm going to throw a life's work away any more than he is?
There's your cullywobbles. There's yours. Now, apart from all that, I wanted you both here for another reason. I have to make the official decision which system is to transmit first to Radio Olympia. True to the spirit of the greatest invention known to science, I'll now make it in, I think, a perfectly appropriate manner. Have you a penny on you, Cecil?
Threepenny bit, halfpenny and half a crown.
I imagine history would probably demand the half-crown, Cecil.
John?
Tails.
Tails it is. We go on the air with experimental demonstrations to Olympia from the Baird studio. 11:45, August the 26th. The next day, Isaac, we do it from yours. You'd think at least we could get a glass of cooking sherry from the kitchen.
Does your little friend walk home?
Oh, hello. Beg pardon? Oh, yes, yes, she lives local. First street on the other side of the park, Duke's Avenue.
And you don't even walk her home? Well, that's not terribly gallant for your little friend.
Well, I don't usually finish this early as a rule. No, we've been sent home while they do engineering checks. The actual cameramen haven't, but I have. I asked, but they said no. Well, usually I don't finish till nearer bedtime. Anyway, usually I'm on my push bike as a rule. Only when the radio's broke. Anyway, she's not my little friend. She's just a friend. Oh, sorry. Do sit down.
Thank you, kind sir.
Standing isn't allowed. You have to sit on these.
Oh, come on. Well, you're the Albert Einstein round here. Work it out.
Sorry?
Do sit down.
Mr. Lambert?
Yes, Mrs. Field?
Telephone call for you. A Miss Wendy Piggott Smythe. Social, she says. About past 9 at night.
Rightio, Mrs. Field. On my way.
Off we go then, studio. Rehearsal, please. Jasmine and Helen to the Spotlight studio. Hyam, stand by at the piano. Right, go.
He's got 2 of them in there with him now. I bet he never comes out again. Who do you have to play bridge with to get that job?
You all right?
Good, here we go then. And cue opening announcement.
Silly go, did you do that?
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Blatt.
What's going on in there?
He hit me. He bashed me in the ribs with his big fat elbow.
Why did you bash her in the ribs with your big fat elbow, Mr. Thompson?
I was cueing her, Mr. Madden.
Well, just tap her on the arm in future. You won't knock her out, but you might win on points. Try it.
It's very dark in here, sir. I might miss it. Well, it's rather delicate with a lady, sir.
Has she got her wind back?
Have you got your wind back, Miss Blatt?
Just about.
Ready to rehearse, Mr. Madden?
Good. Stand by. And cue announcer.
Hello, Radio Olympia. This is Jasmine Blythe, the BBC television service at Alexandra Palace. There now follows a demonstration transmission direct to you at Olympia. It is entitled, Here's Looking at You. Miss Helen Mackay.
Cue Miss Mackay.
Miss Blythe, get off.
Cue piano.
He's looking at you from out of the blue.
What's she wearing? It's not a dress rehearsal. Full evening dress.
She wanted to try the frog for lighting.
I can't hear the piano. Why isn't Hyam playing the piano?
He's looking at you.
He is playing, Mr. Madden. No.
Oh, can I let you sit and watch the show?
Mr. Madden, he is playing the piano?
Well, we can't hear him in here.
Well, we can in here, sir.
I'm coming out. Everyone out of the Spotlight studio. Can only get better.
Miss Mackay. We're going back into the main studio.
Cecil, it really is most awfully difficult.
Jasmine, we do understand. It's quite obvious you'll have to be in here as opposed to in there, all right? We can't work from both studios. Sorry, but
Excuse me, Mr. Madden.
Miss Mackay,
Yeah,
we're
no,
terribly sorry. We've got a slight technical fault. We're trying to sort it out. Please excuse us. Mr. Thompson, please. Terribly sorry.
Please don't worry about it, because what we're going to do is probably use that camera there. What's the matter?
My hand, it's all wet. Is there water on the floor?
There had better not be. There are 10,000 volts of electricity running through everywhere.
Oh, excuse the language, lady. It's the cyanide again. Oh, don't touch it! The cameraman spilled his ruddy fixing fluid again. Extinguish this as fast as you can.
Stand quite still.
No, not me, you fool, Miss Mackay's frock.
Penny for them.
Oh, I'm not sure that I dare, really.
Oh?
It's just that I was thinking.
Yes.
Well, I don't reckon I'm getting my fair share, really.
Sorry?
Rehearsal time. I mean, there's everything to get right yet, isn't there? Apart from the viewfinder I was telling you about. Oh, no, that was Florence, wasn't it? Anyway, that apart, what about the dolly itself? There's Mr. Bliss cueing me to track in fast from long shot to close-up, but there's no brake or nothing, and we're going full pelt by sheer momentum. What if it doesn't stop?
Was that it? I think I could have saved myself a penny there, don't you?
And the Baird studio's getting all the attention, because it doesn't blinking work. Take the IFT magazine for a start. Well, the magazine only holds 1,000 feet. So that's what? 20 minutes worth?
Oh, I wouldn't be at all surprised.
So that's the longest show they can do, even if it did work. And it doesn't. Blobs of gelatin jamming the scanning gate. Got dirt in the discals. Water bubbles distorting the picture, and it isn't even live. It's not really television at all. 240 lines when we do 405. Anyway, don't you worry about it.
David, why did you think I might be annoyed?
What about?
About what I was thinking about when I said penny for them and you thought I might be annoyed.
Oh, yes. Well, I had to be careful. And you might have been a big supporter of the band system.
Oh, sorry. What was it, Kevin?
Will you be going home on the bus this evening?
Oh, my bike's fixed now, so I'll be biking it.
Shall I ring you?
Well, I shan't be back in the digs until about 11, and Mrs. Field doesn't like phone calls after 9.
How would you fancy the idea of a dirty weekend in Bognor?
Well, we're working this weekend. We're doing lens changes.
David Lambert!
What?
I think you misunderstand.
Sorry?
What kind of girl do you take me for?
Beg pardon?
I said, how would you fancy the idea of a dirty weekend
I see.
in Bognor?
Sorry, Wendy. But I hope you don't think I'm the kind of chap who...
All I mean is, you like me.
Oh, sorry.
Eureka, come over here.
Where?
Let's kiss and make up.
I didn't know we'd fallen out.
All the better.
Oh, morning, Mr. Adams, sir. Today's the day, eh? God willing.
Sorry?
Send in your wildest pictures to Olympia. Today's the day.
God willing. Madden speaking. Yes, Mrs. Bligh? You're sure? Well, did you get a second opinion? Oh, I see. I'm terribly sorry, Mrs. Bligh. Please give her my love and wish her better. Which hospital is she in? No, tell her not to worry. No, Wilco. Just get better. Yes. Thank you, Mrs. Bligh. Goodbye. Could you try Mr. Cox's office, please? Sure. Gerald. Morning, it's me. We're down to 2 announcers. Jasmine Bligh, appendicitis. No panic. No, we don't transmit for another 3.5 hours, yeah? Well, 3 hours, 24 minutes it is. We'll just have to re-script and get Leslie and Elizabeth to cover for her. Other phone. I'll come back to you. Madden speaking. Mr. Cowell, good morning. Has Elizabeth left... And what's the doctor saying? How long for? I see. Well, thank you for letting me know, Mr. Cowell. Please, wish her better. Of course. Mr. Cock again, please. Gerald, it's me again. When I said we were down to 2 announcers, I was overestimating by 50%. Elizabeth. Severe chill. Confined to bed. Don't happen to know Henry's last speech before Agincourt, do you? No, dear chap, not to recite to Radio Olympia. To come here and recite to me.
Daily Herald, I think. few weeks back now.
Oh, I don't remember reading that.
Well, I don't know. Reynolds News, perhaps. One of them. I didn't bleed and dream it.
It isn't proven fact, no, is it?
Well, it stands to reason, anyway. If you've got an aerial stuck on your roof, sucking in X-rays from Alexandra Palace, it can just as easily squirt them out again, can't it? You could just be strolling down the street, anything, minding your own business, and then psst, psst, from some toff's aerial, and you're sterilised. Any fella passes a house with television could be sterilised.
Well, no buggering neck he'll have once, I reckon your neck, as they say. Reckon they'll all set fire, these things. The aerial's like a lightning conductor, really, isn't it? Straight down into your parlour.
I think it might be true about how television can see into your next door's house. I think that was in the Herald. Now, it may be that if you've both got one, you can see into each other's houses. Something like that. That's a proven fact.
It's as I feared, sir. Administrative error. You've had a bit of a wild goose chase. I've checked with the producer. Re-pogo the Wonder Horse, no horse box required. If you'll follow me, I'll have a page boy escort you to the accounts department for reimbursement. Got more money than sense in there, haven't they? That's 3 guineas down the drain for nothing. Is that what it costs? Out of horse box plus grooming, 3 guineas a day. Blimey, they could have got Jesse Matthews for that. Here, how's this pogo managing then, without one? All right, by all reports.
All right, everyone. End of rehearsal there. 10-minute tea break while we get those curtains organised properly. Then we go back to the beginning again. And Leslie? Yes, Cecil? You were wrong. You don't look at all petrified. Well, I could see my hands shaking. They're not in shot. Well, my jowls were quivering, lolloping about. Not noticeable, Leslie. The camera's shaking at the same tempo, so it cancels it out. Sorry, cameras. That was a joke. Everything's under control. Oh, God.
Should be getting the tuning signal by now. 11:45. Where the hell is it? That's it. Duke Ellington.
Not much different to the wireless, really, is it?
Blimey. It's working. Now, if the picture vanishes, you ring me in the exhibition hall straight away. Rather than have 6,000 potential customers throwing rotten eggs at the stands, we can switch off down here. Yes? I'll give the word whether to or not. Understood? Keep your fingers crossed.
Wouldn't credit it, would you? That photo we're looking at's in Muswell Hill. Clever, innit?
Well, I think as a show it leaves a bit to be desired.
Just remember, Mr. Mitchell, a dig in the left side means smile, and a dig in the right side means speak, all right?
It's just trying to avoid the kidneys, weren't you? Stand by, everyone. And go. Go. Cue music. Fade up. Fade down caption. Cue Leslie Mitchell. Good luck, everybody.
Hello, Radio Olympia. The BBC television service presents an experimental demonstration entitled Here's Looking at You. And to begin, here's looking at Miss Helen Mackay.
Cue Miss Mackay. Cue orchestra. Get rid of Leslie.
Here's looking at you from out of the blue. Don't make a fuss, but settle down and look at us. Here's looking at you. It seems hardly true that radio can let you sit and watch the show. With hullabaloo, we're just peeping through. First you heard, now you see, and you wonder what the next thing on the list will be. What hullabaloo.
And I repeat, there's absolutely nothing gone wrong here. Vision and sound are perfectly in order. The fault must be at your end.
To Leslie?
No, not at all. My engineers confirmed that we're transmitting perfectly satisfactorily. The fault must be at your end.
And now we present Miss Luty and Pogo the Wonder.
Cue music.
Well, get the Olympia engineers to check all your receiving equipment. We're transmitting. If you're not receiving, that's your baby. Well, you check. You're missing rather a good show.
That's it, everyone. We're off the air. Relax.
Well done, one and all. You all did marvellously. A few problems with the flicker in the spotlight studio, but otherwise perfect. A few musicians picking their noses when they thought nobody could see them, which I assure you they could. Unfortunately, we had 2 brief breakdowns in reception at Olympia.
Oh, when was that?
Their problem, not ours.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
They tell us, nevertheless, that the crowds are flocking to look in.
Good.
We did it!
Hooray!
At 4:30 this afternoon, we're going to do it all over again. Thank you. Go and enjoy your lunch.
Thank you. Well done, Cecil.
And the theory is, somebody at Olympia did it on purpose. Sabotage, really. Yet Mr. Bliss says there are firms making wireless sets just don't want television to work. I mean, the first breakdown was because of a dead mouse. Some loony had put a dead mouse in the equipment.
Mashed or roast?
Just electrocuted, I suppose.
Your luncheon.
Oh, sorry, either. Yeah, and the second one was a piece of silver foil jamming up the works. Still, we should be all right for this afternoon's broadcast. And tomorrow, of course, when it's my studio.
Mr. Lambert, there's a queue.
Sorry.
Well, if you wanted to start our little walks again, then you could tell me everything that...
Sorry, what were you saying?
It's going to be a big day for me today. For us. We'd look forward to...
What?
I'm sorry to keep you waiting. Mashed or roast?
Well, thanks again, Wendy.
Was it all too awful for you?
Oh, it was a treat. Dinner was cracking. I've never even heard of avocado.
Daddy was terribly stuffy.
He wasn't actually rude.
He's always actually rude, actually. Still, if he says yes, you'll come, won't you?
I'll say.
He's never quite so stuffy when we weekend at the cottage, I promise. Well, fingers crossed, anyway.
I'll say. I'll see you tomorrow, then.
I thought he kept his end up rather well, considering he was facing Bodyline.
What's he say he is? A producer, chappie?
You know he isn't.
Some sort of engineer, Waller?
Oh, stop it, Daddy.
A camera bloke? What is he called, then?
A tracker.
Sounds like some sort of hillbilly in Nova Scotia. Pushes a camera on a pram, is that right?
It's called a dolly.
I'm not surprised.
Can he come to the cottage or not?
Wendy, dear, it is a fly-by-night piece of mumbo-jumbo. A dead duck. No prospects, television or him. He also has a regrettable taste in bulging jacket pockets.
Everyone at Alexandra Palace is absolutely...
Use your noddle, darling, it can't work.
It did work. Today at Olympia.
To one building. It is supposed to do the whole of London.
It will. Well, they're all convinced of it. Oh, Daddy, please. On November the 2nd, when they start properly...
I tell you what. I am a betting man. particularly when it's a racing certainty. If they actually do start properly, the whole of London, and it works, yes.
You can spend the weekend.
If they send pictures of people singing and dancing and whatnot into a big box in this living room, then the following weekend he's on. If not...
Oh, Daddy.
If not, then forget him. I mean it.
So, November the 2nd, inaugural programme. Sir John Reith has refused to do anything other than sit and watch, and no doubt snarl. Oh, we're stuck with speeches by the chairman of the BBC, the Postmaster General, and Lord Selsdon.
Exciting stuff.
What's the variety show rundown looking like, old boy?
Adele Dixon, song. Good. Buck and Bubbles, comedy dancers. And Lyfoons, jugglers.
George, picture page items?
Oh, yes. Tennis interview case Stammers. Jim Mollison on his flight over the Atlantic.
Good.
And Guy Fawkes. 3 local kids.
Oh.
I think that's all that's fixed so far.
Anything beyond the ideas stage for after November the 2nd?
Yes. Approaches 2. Sophie Tucker, Fats Waller, Maurice Chevalier, Ivor Novello, Elizabeth Welsh.
That's great.
And okays from, I can find it, Joey Brown, Gracie Fields,
I say.
Jean Autry, George Roby, and the great Coringa and her crocodiles.
Beat that.
A play a day, Cecil. Agatha Christie's writing one specially for us.
good.
We've Bernard Shaw, Lillian Baylis's Macbeth from the Old Vic, Valet Rombert, and the Dybbuk in Hebrew.
Splendid. I have 2 hobby horses, both tentative. One's the unemployed miners marching down from Jarrow. Well, they should reach Marble Arch the end of October, if we can get a couple of them to the studio. And the other is the Scarlet Pimpernel. But I'd like to have a go at shooting it on film from the studio monitor, so we don't have to do it over and over. But I don't know whether it's technically feasible.
I'd like to have a shot at that.
Yes?
Which studio's doing November the 2nd?
Don't say Baird, Cecil. Not after the Olympia fiasco. Please don't say Baird.
Well, I think Gerald's rooting in his pocket for a penny again.
Any chance of finding him a double-headed one and getting Baird to call tails?
Go.
I am still signalling Tattoo Lane!
Well, shall I break the artist, Mr. O'Farrell?
Are we in love or something?
No, Mr. Bliss.
What's the matter then?
It's nothing, Mr. Bliss.
David, this is me you're talking to. The slightest shudder on this dolly and I can tell what your grandmother had for breakfast. Look, you're ignoring my signals, you're tracking me too slow, you're not answering any
It's
of
a
the questions.
disgrace, Mr. Bliss! We all know it is, and no one's saying nothing. But they won the toss the first time, and then they buggered it up when there was flicker. Well, apart from the mouse and the other thing, and the stupid IFT broke down. Well, the next day we did it perfect.
All right, keep your shirt on.
Well, now we go and lose the toss again when it really matters. But November the 3rd's no good. It's the 2nd. That's the big day. It only comes once.
On with the show, please, Mr. Leonard. Thank you.
Sorry.
Could you get us started again, please, Mr. Thompson?
He's right, of course.
That's beside the point.
Rehearsal, everyone. Stand by.
That's when the eyes of London will be on us. And we'll be sitting here while the Baird studio buggers it up again.
Shut up, Mr. Lambert! Thank you. When you are a fully fledged cameraman, then you can say bugger. But if we had a union, I'd report you to the shop steward. We're going to do a fast track from here into close-up on the guillotine. And we are going to do it fast, and we're going to do it smooth, and we are going to do it now. Compreni?
Yes, Mr. Bliss.
We just do our job. If you want to lash out on something, take it out on the dolly.
Sorry, Mr. Bliss.
Rehearsal, everyone. Please stand by.
Careful with the scenery, Mr. Bliss. Don't be followed.
Heavens.
Balmy, isn't it?
What is?
Do you know what they're burning?
No. A woman for smoking a Sobrani in the lavatory.
Pardon?
It's the Scarlet Pimpernel.
How do you mean?
They couldn't get permission to broadcast it. We've shot the whole play, now it's going up in smoke.
Why are they filming the fire?
To send to Alexander Calder to prove we've burned it. They're scared of us, you know. The cinema bosses. They're scared people will watch us instead of going to the pictures.
Come along, David.
Oh, bye then.
Good luck on Monday.
Thank you. You too.
And me, thank you very much.
Why you? You're not one of us. What do you care?
Florence, there are people.
Oh, don't fret yourself. There's no microphone. It's silent. 35 mil silent. It's been everything to us. Next Monday. To everyone in there. Looking forward for months and months. Like a dream coming true. Them's your words, David. The first time you come into my canteen. The very first time. What does she care? What's it to her if it goes all right or not?
Oh, I care, little Miss Cardoma. David's hiring Ty and Tails, especially, aren't you, darling?
What are you talking about? What's she on about, Ty and Tails? In the studio? Well, you're not Leslie Mitchell.
Oh, for heaven's sake, David, tell her. Put her out of her misery. She'll be slopping tea all over the plum duff otherwise.
David?
On the other hand, why bother?
Tell me what?
Oh, marvellous, a scene.
Wendy, it isn't just because of that, is it?
What?
That you care, your father. I mean, you care whether the thing itself is going to be a success or not.
What thing?
What?
I'm sorry, children, it's not the weather for standing in the middle of nowhere discussing long shots and Marconi IFTs and...
Marconi EMI, you barn pot! IFT's the bad system!
Marconi and IFT are two entirely opposite... I do not
I'll
understand
see you
how you
later.
can...
Perhaps a drink before home time.
What's she mean? Ty and Tails. Tell me what she meant. Please? And if it's definitely over, you and me, well, I won't be a rotten sport or nothing.
Toomey.
Just wanted to say good luck, Mr. Mann.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you. Good luck to all of us.
Stat, biting your nose is bad enough. Biting them through your gloves is the height of bloody ignorance.
Sorry, sir, I was...
Been here all night?
No, sir. I came in earlier to check the Oh, I was just checking the...
Yes. Me too. Well, I'd best make a start.
Yes, sir. Me as well.
Good luck then.
You too, sir.
Thanks. All right, everyone, end of rehearsal. And all we've got now is a line-up for camera focus and sound levels till the top brass arrive. So, just relax. And the next time I speak to you, it'll be the real thing. At last. In case I forget to say it at the time, good luck, studio.
Thank you very much, sir. And on behalf of everyone out here, the same to you, Mr. Madden.
Yes, indeed. Good luck, Cecil.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson.
Good luck, Mr. Mitchell.
No, not at all.
Beg your pardon, sir?
I thought you asked me if I was feeling a bit queasy. Or were you talking to someone else? Or wasn't it you, anyway? Sorry, what's the matter?
What is it? Oh, it's all right, Miss Lawrence. I think it's dead. What is?
So we don't know how long the big rigs are going to go on for, so you'll just have to keep on your toes, all right? Good luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
What's happened to the picture? I don't understand. It's not the camera. What the hell is it? Stop there, everyone. Hold it. We've got an engineering problem. All engineers in here at the double, please. What time is it? Oh, my God. Clear the studio, please. Take a 5-minute break in the corridor. All engineers in here, fast as you can. Emergency. I don't understand. What's happened?
Thank you for sparing the time, Sir John.
Yes.
Tea, Mr. Lambert. Mr. Lambert?
It's marvellous, isn't it? Finished before we even start, in front of all the toffs. All these months kiboshed.
Miss Pigott-Smythe's dad won't be pleased.
Who?
Perhaps it'll be all right tomorrow. Bang goes your la-di-da weekend, of course.
Tomorrow's no good. We open today. In 7 minutes. All for nothing.
Don't be upset.
Aren't you?
Yes. Of course. But some things come first. Other things.
Like what?
Like you and me. Like you and not Miss Pigott-Smythe.
Damn Miss Pigott-bloody-Smythe.
Do you mean that?
Yeah, and her damn father. What are they going in for? They won't see anything.
The transmitter room. There's a dead mouse in the second valve unit. When I took the tea up for the...
There's what?
Well, it was only to prove that...
Florence.
It was only to prove that...
To prove what?
It's the most important thing in the world to me. It comes first. But first equals... You're the most important thing in all.
Are you telling me you went and put a mouse in? Her father isn't even watching this transmission. He's watching tonight's.
Well, tell him, David! Quick! Tell him! The second valve unit, David! David, tell him!
Shush!
All right, everyone. Everything now under control. Everything in order. So, here we go. Get through this and never let your grandchildren forget it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fade up, camera. Cue Leslie.
Good afternoon. This is the BBC television service at Alexandra Palace. To begin our opening ceremony, here is Mr. R.C. Norman, the chairman of the British Broadcasting Corporation.
Cut the IFT.
Lord Selsdon, Postmaster General, and all who are looking in at this ceremony from afar. Today's ceremony is a very simple program. In every respect, it will doubtless be thought primitive a few years hence. But we believe it will be remembered as an historic occasion. The foresight...
I would like to pay tribute to all those who have devoted their talents to bringing television from the realm of theory to the realm of practice. I predict a great and successful future for it. As you have already said, Mr. Norman, television broadcasting has great potentiality.
Sound broadcasting has widened our outlook and increased our pleasure by bringing knowledge, music, and entertainment within the reach of all. The complementary art of television contains within it vast possibilities of the enhancement and widening of benefits we already enjoy from sound broadcasting.
It has rightly been said that the potentialities of this new art are vast. And it is possible, for instance, to conceive of its being applied not only to entertainment,
but also to education, commerce, the tracing of wanted or missing persons, and navigation by sea or by air.
Now, to begin the show, we present Miss Adele
Stand by to
Dixon
cut the
of the
IFT.
Television Orchestra. Miss Adele
Cue
Dixon.
orchestra.
A mighty maze of mystic magic rays is all about us in the blue. And in sight and sound they trace living pictures out of space to bring a new wonder to you. The busy world before you is unfurled, its songs, its tears and laughter too. One by one they play their parts in this latest of the arts.
John, please, you can't possibly leave in the middle.
We haven't even got to the middle.
I've seen enough, thank you.
Where you going, man? Well, I don't know. It's kind of dark up here. Listen on the line. Truck on deal.
Yes, sir.
I said truck on deal.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Get the motor first, then you run them up. It's easy, speak the rain. Now I'm going up.
The rumour is they're going to do the whole show again in the Marconi EMI. They're not happy with the bed.
Ooh, what?
David's studio. David's doing the next broadcast.
Ah, no more little dead mouse tricks. You know, as well as being a wicked girl, you're a silly girl. You want to stop this Lucy's papa watching, yes? You don't have to stop everybody watching, just him. He watches tonight, yes?
What are you getting at, Tony?
Where's he live, this bad man?
Chelsea.
You get to the address, okay?
A mighty maze of mystic magic rays is all about us in the blue. And in sight and sound they trace living pictures out of space to bring a new wonder to you. before you is a world. Its songs, its tears and
Steady. Hold the camera position there.
one by one they play their parts in this latest of the arts. To
Went swimmingly this afternoon.
How much did this contraption cost me? As compared to a box of firewood, say. Enough said, I think, don't you? I'm going to get you back at Broadcasting House, even if I have to let the Brigadier beat me at golf to do it.
I expect you may as well. I rather think they're more my sort of person.
Switch the damn thing off, would you?
And that ends the inaugural programmes of the BBC television service. We hope you enjoyed it. We will be broadcasting again tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, and every afternoon and evening after those. Till then, from all of us at Alexandra Palace, good night, everyone.
And fade sound. And vision. And out. And hallelujah. And amen.
Well done, studio! David, well done.
Bit of luck, my mum will have some shepherd's pie over. It's usually shepherd's pie Monday night. Is shepherd's pie alright, dear?
Just think, Flo.
Say that again.
What, just think?
The other bit.
Over 400 houses, Flo, saw that programme. That's probably going on for 1,000 people. 1,000. All over London, all in their houses, seeing what I could see in front of me. We did it, Flo. Only went to made history, didn't we? When we were putting the cameras to bed, Mr. Schoenberg came and thanked us. And then he said, "Gentlemen, we have now invented the biggest time waster of all time."
He never. Was he acting again?
And then he said, "In the words of Bishop somebody or other, we have lit a candle that will never be put out."
And which do you think it'll be? David?
Stay with us, more TV history to come here on BBC4 next this evening with D-Mob Happy, How TV Conquered Britain. Next.
And in sight and sound they trace living pictures out of space to bring a new wonder to you. The busy world before you is unfurled, its songs, its tears and laughter too. One by one they play their parts in this latest of the arts to bring you enchantment to you. As by your fireside you sit, the news will flit as on the silver screen, and just for entertaining you with something new, the stars will then be seen. So there's joy in store, a world is at your door, it's here to pass you in review. Conjured up in sound and sight